Here's more wrestling news for August 17th, 2022. And we're starting off this afternoon with WWE, and 2022 has certainly been a monumental year so far. From the in-ring return of Steve Austin at WrestleMania to Vince McMahon's shocking retirement just a few weeks ago. This week, WWE hosted their second quarterly report of the year, and business is booming for the promotion. The report notes that the second quarter of 2022 brought in $328 million in revenue, over $63 million more than the same period in 2021. WWE's premium live events are also doing well, with WrestleMania 38, WrestleMania Backlash, and Hell in a Cell being the most viewed events in the history of each show. Over 55 events in WWE's second quarter of the year, there was an estimated 400,300 fans in attendance, up significantly from the 40,400 the previous year. To be fair, that 40,400 figure is only because WWE had just one attended event in the second quarter of 2021, which was the socially distanced WrestleMania 37. WWE's investment in original content is up, as they've spent $20 million in the first half of 2022 on original content such as WWE Evil, Miz and Mrs., and others, up from the $9.1 million of the previous year. The company also saw an increase in revenue from merchandise, with fans paying $7.3 million at live events, in addition to the $3.1 million earned by WWE 2K22. After a difficult few years thanks to the pandemic, business is once again booming for WWE, and with fans and talent alike optimistic about the new era of the company, the future looks bright in WWE. WWE is certainly doing well for themselves after having to go without fans for a year and the absence of Vince McMahon, so it's no wonder the talks of a sale have resurfaced. Even before McMahon's retirement, there have been rumors of WWE selling to another company, and now we know at least one name who may make an offer. During their financial earnings report call to investors, Nick Khan spoke about the TV rights deals for Raw and Smackdown, which are currently aired by the USA Network and Fox. Khan brought up Netflix as a potential bidder for WWE's programming, saying that they know Netflix is looking to enter the world of live entertainment, and it was only recently that the streaming service put in a bid for the rights to Formula One. With viewing figures for both Raw and SmackDown recently increasing, WWE is certainly looking like a desirable prospect, but we'll have to see if Netflix or any other platform make an offer when the promotion's current TV rights expire at the end of 2024. Next month, WWE will head to Cardiff, Wales for Clash at the Castle, the company's biggest UK event in over 30 years. The card for the show is coming together, with several high-profile names already confirmed, but one huge star will be staying home. Speaking with Inside the Ropes this week, AJ Styles spoke about Clash at the Castle, and while he'd love to put on a show, he won't be at Principality Stadium. There are plenty of other performers that have great stories, so I'm not saddened by the fact that I won't be there, because I know you guys are going to have such a great night with so many matches. Based on Styles' comments, it's a bit unclear as to why he's missing what will be his third premium live event in a row, after missing both SummerSlam and Money in the Bank. Styles has been a regular on Raw, so we know he's not injured, but fans in the UK won't be getting to see the Phenomenal One in action. Styles won't be at Clash at the Castle, but he is still a fixture of WWE TV, despite the hopes of some fans to see him elsewhere. Since AEW has been around, there have been fans hoping to see the Phenomenal One become All Elite, where he'd be able to face the likes of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, CM Punk, and others. Speaking about the possibility of going to AEW, Styles admitted that he has a lot of friends in Tony Khan's company, but he wants to be in WWE. Styles also said that he is more comfortable right now in WWE, as he understands what they need and wants to be a part of it. The two-time former WWE champion even went on to say that it wasn't close when he decided to stay with WWE over AEW when he decided to sign a contract extension with WWE in February of this year. Ultimately, AJ will do what he believes is best for him and his family, and to him, that means staying in WWE. AEW doesn't have AJ Styles, but they do have fellow TNA alum Jay Lethal, who debuted at last year's Full Gear. Lethal started off strong in AEW, having matches with Cody Rhodes and Jon Moxley, but has since slid down the card and is now aligned with Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh. When Lethal debuted, even Jim Cornette had to admit that AEW had done something right, but on his recent podcast, the controversial wrestling personality had a much harsher tone. I mean, they've about dropped the ball completely. They had the opportunity like they've had with so many other guys they brought in that have talent. Just start using Jay Lethal the right way from the beginning. Don't bring him in, don't bring any of these guys in and beat them 3 or 4 times on television and then stick him in an angle. On last week's AEW Dynamite, Lethal tried to sneak up on Wardlow after a verbal confrontation, but was decimated by Wardlow and FTR, as things don't look to be improving for him anytime soon. We've got some worrying news from Sasha Banks now, as the boss was recently the victim of a break-in. On Instagram, the former women's champion revealed that she had been parked in Oakland for just 5 minutes, only to return to her car that had the window smashed in an attempt to steal valuables. Banks also uploaded video of the security cam footage on her Instagram stories, and we hope the perpetrator is swiftly caught for their actions. More from Sasha as she and Naomi walked out on the May 16th Raw over a creative dispute, and for a while, it seemed like they were done with WWE for good. Thankfully, that doesn't seem to be the case anymore, as it's reported that the pair have agreed to return, but if so, the former tag champions are keeping quiet. This week, the two attended the premiere of Marvel's She-Hulk: Attorney at Law, but they were not answering any questions about their return. When a fan asked the two about a WWE return, both women kept silent, though Naomi was much more appreciative when the fan complimented their green outfits. With Vince McMahon gone and Triple H now head of talent, it's expected that the two will return soon enough, but don't expect to hear much about it from either woman before they're back in the ring. Speaking of returns, Dakota Kai is back in WWE after being released from NXT 2.0 in April of this year. At the time, Kai had told WWE that she did not plan on re-signing when her contract expired, and WWE's management believed that she was not a main roster star. That's all changed thanks to the changes that have happened behind the scenes, but not everyone is a fan of the New Zealand star. On Legion of Raw, Vince Russo said how Kai simply isn't a TV star and recalled a conversation with the Road Dogg Jesse James. Let me just talk about Dakota Kai for a second because, bro, we have Road Dogg on this Thursday, and I was basically trying to tell Road Dogg, bro, listen, I'm a television viewer at home, I'm watching this show, I don't know who these girls are, they don't look like stars to me, okay? And Road Dogg, what do you talk about, bro? What great workers they are. With all due respect, that's not a television star, bro. That's not a television star, bro. You know what a television star is? Sable is a television star. Chyna's a television star. Sunny is a television star. This is not a television star. Thus the problem, I agree with Brian James, she's probably the greatest worker in the world. Guess what, bro? The only people that care about that are the people already watching the show. Given how Sunny's post-WWE career panned out, we're not sure that being like the prime suspect in an ongoing manslaughter case is a good thing, and Kai will keep doing her own thing in WWE, even if it doesn't win Vince Russo over. In 2020 and 2021, Tony Khan won the Wrestling Observer Newsletter's Booker of the Year award for his work as head of AEW. With that said, many fans have since turned on Khan and have grown tired of the seemingly weekly brawl-filled conclusions to both Dynamite and Rampage. While speaking to Shark Wrestling recently, Eric Bischoff didn't hold back in his own criticisms of Khan, saying, AEW is a super meaningful alternative to WWE. But the point is, Tony Khan refers to WWE as competition. Tony, wake the F up. You are not competition. You have not taken any market share, your audience is not growing on television, and there is not even a comparison in terms of a financial perspective in terms of revenue generation. So how exactly are you competitive? If you're not taking market share, and you're not even in the same conversation from a revenue standpoint, that's the beginning and end of the competition conversation. You're either taking market share or you're not, or you're either equal to or close in the competitor's revenue, and they're not even close. If Tony Khan is smart, and I know he's very, very smart, a lot smarter than me in a lot of ways, I don't exactly think he's got a creative instinct in his body. I think what he's doing is reliving a childhood memory, of ECW in the indie scene and super matches. He's booking, in my opinion, like a 14-year-old would, who would have a lot of toys and things he can play with. But I'm not seeing story. We've seen the wrestling audience or AEW audience call it a story, but it's not. It's an excuse for having a super match or dream match. If Tony Khan is really smart and if his goal is to really compete with WWE, he needs to look at what's working in WWE in terms of storytelling and format perspective. He's going to wake up one day and realize that being a dirt sheet booker and catering to the internet wrestling community is a wonderful thing because your name is on the internet all the time, but AEW is not going to grow beyond that point that it currently exists because you're only serving a small portion of the audience. You're not reaching out to the broader audience. Not everyone breathes, sleeps, and eats wrestling, you know? The internet audience does, but there's a more, I don't want to say passive, but a less committed viewing audience out there that's really important. It's ironic that WWE are often criticized for repeat booking, something Khan and AEW have mocked their competitor for, when it appears the AEW president is just as guilty of that. Tony Khan has a fortune to pay for new talent, but that doesn't mean much if the booking isn't where it needs to be, and we'll just have to wait and see what the future holds for AEW. In 2010, Rey Mysterio and CM Punk feuded, resulting in a match where Punk's hair was on the line, but Mysterio would have to join the Straight Edge Society if he lost. Defeating Punk at the Over the Limit event, Rey was on hand to shave Punk's head and kept a souvenir of the storyline. Mysterio told Inside the Ropes that as a souvenir, he kept part of Punk's hair, as is tradition in Lucha Libre culture. Rey added that he and Punk kept a close friendship after the feud, and if you ever find yourself in the Mysterio home, keep an eye out for a Ziploc bag of AEW World Championship hair. A year after losing his hair, Punk would have his career peak in WWE, cutting the infamous Pipebomb in June 2011. The promo saw Punk take aim at WWE and Vince McMahon, saying the company would be better when the then-chairman dies, but this wasn't the scathing shoot fans may think. Brian Gewirtz recently sat down with Ariel Helwani and explained that McMahon had a copy of the Pipebomb in front of him, though some of the promo was improvised. CM Punk's comments on the June 27, 2011 Raw touched on a lot of real-life feelings he had for WWE, but this didn't go ahead without McMahon's approval. Back to the present, and it's been reported that Bray Wyatt is likely to return to WWE over a year after his release. There's a lot of names Wyatt hasn't faced before, and when Joel Gertner tweeted that he'd love to see Wyatt face Karrion Kross, and the Smackdown superstar responded, making it clear he wants that match too. Kross and Wyatt are two of WWE's darker characters in recent years, and it may just be a matter of time before they face off. And we're ending today with Tyler Bate, who appeared at NXT Heatwave with the NXT UK Championship, which must have come as a surprise to fans. Right now, NXT UK is in the middle of a tournament to crown a new NXT UK champion after Ilya Dragunov had to vacate due to injury, but the tournament has already been taped. By having Bate appear last night, WWE has already spoiled the results of this tournament in a bizarre decision for WWE to make to close out Heatwave 2022. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.